and welcome to the first episode of my Harbinger developer commentary. So if you don't know, this is a map that I made. It's a CTM map, 16 wool, full CTM map with some optional objectives as well. So if we come over here, I'm going to enable. I'm going to keep inventory. Yeah, I'm not going to have keep inventory on. These are the rules. They're standard CTM rules, so I won't go over them. I won't read out all of them, but they were there if you want to pause the video and read them. I'm going to be playing on normal difficulty, and I think I'll put the death counter on. I actually think the death counter might be broken, so we'll just have to wait and see on that one. Yeah, so this was a map I made and released in November last year, and it's mostly finished. It's playable, it's completable. Bits of it need more playtesting, and if you haven't seen the previous video I did on this map, I did release one last week or earlier this week maybe. I'm not sure when this video is going to go up, but yeah, I made a discussion just talking about how I feel about the map, and I want to play through the map again now. It's been about 6 months since I released it, or 7 months. And I think now is a good time to play through it because it's relatively blind, and I can kind of experience the map again and get some ideas on what works, what's balanced, what's imbalanced, what's annoying, and what doesn't look very nice, and kind of come at it clean in that sense. So I hope that, yeah, this seems like quite a good time to be doing it, and then I will hopefully release an updated version of the map. Right, so this book just has some acknowledgements in. These are my beta testers, who are all very helpful in kind of particularly the earlier areas of the map and making sure that they're more balanced and tuned than they were initially. Thank you to Adrian Brightmore for MC Edit filters I used quite extensively. And Render, I borrowed the Emerald system, and this map was initially inspired by Uncharted Territories 2 particularly. So yeah, Amlop gets a mention there as well. Right, so let's push this button and begin the map. I quite like this little countdown scene. Apparently the text doesn't fit on the screen, which is not ideal, but oh well. And there we go, Harbinger. So we spawn in this kind of valley area, and kind of immediately looking, we see that kind of darker area there is something we're going to want to explore. We've got some trees, so we'll probably go and chop down one of those to start with, and a few other things. There's this floating island and a shipwreck up there, and some emerald, lime concrete, but I may have just given you a hint as to what's behind there. There is this block of gravel here, so you get a free sword and some jungle planks. I'll probably just get rid of that gravel for now. So let's go up to the emerald first, I guess. So yeah, as I kind of mentioned, I borrowed the emerald system from Render. So there are 27 emeralds hidden around the map. I'm not going to get any of them in this playthrough. I'm just going to leave most of them. There's also a chest here with some splash potions. Might as well just take one of the swiftness ones now. And there we go. Yeah, I'm not going to collect any of the emeralds in this playthrough because I do want to leave them as a bit of a thing for people to find themselves and explore themselves. But the first one is very much a gimme, and there is a hint to another one that I may already have looked at. Right, so let's come back up here. I'm going to want to go down there and get some wood. There's a chest there, so I'll probably head to that first to make sure we don't miss any of our jumps. Being a little bit choppy, so I'm going to drop it down to 7 chunks. This map plays best probably at kind of 10 to 12, but my computer doesn't like me recording very much, so we get some cobblestone, some leather, some beef and an oak sapling, and some spider eyes, which I don't really want. But we do now have everything we need to make an axe, so I'll probably make one of those first. Let's get that and that. Right, like so. We'll make 2 axes because they're going to be our weapon as well. We're not going to be using this wooden sword, I don't think. So as I'm kind of chopping wood, I want to talk a little bit about this area. So this area was the first area I made for the map. I'd made other areas before, but they were kind of previous projects. And this was the first map, or the first area of this map, which was the first map that I released, the first one I actually finished. It's pretty ugly now. I made it in 2014 and no, 2013 even, and bits of it haven't stood the test of time. It's far too grey. I tried to bring in some colour with the waterfalls, but yeah, it didn't entirely work. So I think it's probably an area I'm going to update. There is a kind of lore reason for why it's so grey as well, but I think that's we get a lot of glowstone there and some leather as well. So let's make a chest piece, I think. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so the lore of this floating island is called New Sanctifrax, and it's Sanctifrax is a reference to a book series. I can only remember the name of one of them. I think it was the Edge Chronicles. So the title of the map is also a kind of reference to that as well. The Malevolent Chronicles, and that series is based. There's a lot of things that happen in it, but it also has flying islands, and one in particular which is called Sanctifrax. So yeah, but the idea is that people used to live here in the village and in the area, and then for some reason they were, and at this stage in the map it's unclear why, but they were forced to leave, and they fled underground. So that's why, and we do get an axe there. I suppose we'll swap that out for you. I think we've probably got enough wood, so I'm going to head over to the village, I think, next. There we go. Pretty much got enough wood, but and we get some bonus wood there as well, so that's handy. Because we've got this good axe, I figure we might as well. And there was some coal as well, I think I saw. Obviously I didn't make the map, so if I should know where everything is, but it's been several months since I've played it or even kind of looked at it. That's the chest we found with that in. I think there's coal over this way though. If not, there's some in the village, I know, and we can always cook up charcoal. Let's grab a couple more of these saplings. Right, so let's head up here and head over to the village. We've still got a decent chunk of the day left, so hopefully we can kind of get through some of the village before nightfall. Night is the big thing that's kind of scary about this area. The area is pretty easy, and especially once you get a bed, which you do during the first dungeon, this area shouldn't pose any challenge at all, really. Right, let's go over here. Floating block. Yeah, this area was eroded with the old MC Edit erode brush, and you can tell at times. Right, so let's break this spawner here and grab this bit of glowstone, I guess. We can use glowstone for torches if we need any. Sorry about that, that's my phone. Right, if we come in here, there's some chests, and we get a helmet as well, which is nice, and some baked potatoes, and lots of saplings, and some boots. So yeah, more good stuff, and some food. The loot in this area isn't great, obviously, it's first area, but there is a lot of it, and it's very, like, random. It's not randomly placed, like I placed it all by hand, but it's not coherent very much. So there's bits of like raw pork chops, and then also baked potatoes and loads of different food sources, and that's fine. It just means that your inventory gets full very quickly. So, I mean, you can just see, looking at all of this, yeah, inventory gets full of junk very quickly. Another random food source. So I think this is definitely something I'm going to change, is I'm going to replace all the loot in this area. Probably make it a bit more, well, a bit worse. And I think I also want to remove all of the, well, I'm thinking about removing all the stone from this area and making it andesite. I'm going to overhaul the aesthetics of this area as a whole a bit, but in particular the village, I think, is actually not too bad, but could use a bit more kind of, because it's meant to be like scorched earth here, which is why they had to leave. Like, that's why this is gravel and not dirt anymore. But that makes sense for the village. It doesn't make sense for the rest of the valley, I've decided, because of how much water there is and stuff. But yeah, a few more houses. I'm not probably going to miss a few of them because I just will, but there's, as you can see, plenty of food and stuff to find. And there's nothing too important in any of these houses either. I didn't mean to break off the button there, but hey. We get a splash version of water breathing, which isn't really going to be very useful. That's kind of a hint that maybe there's something behind one of the waterfalls, but possibly not a very good hint. Let's get rid of this one. And there is another one under here, I believe. Yeah, there we go. And then let's see what's in this chest. So we've got some wheat and a flint and steel. What I'm going to do is, let's put this down here. What do I not have on? Oh, I've got a helmet there. So let's make some pants with our leather. And then let's dump out. We'll keep the baked potatoes on us, and let's dump out everything else. Before we go into this dungeon, I guess I'll keep the flint and steel as well. We'll make some torches because they're better than using glowstone, I think. We do still have that stack of torches there. I've forgotten that we had it because it was in our offhand, but we do still have it. I'm going to get rid of this spawner as well. All the spawners have an increased range in the map, basically, just because I wanted to try and reduce the effect of being able to just run in and spam torches, but I don't actually know how effectively I achieve that. Right, I'm going to light up this area because it's getting night, but I am ready to head into the first dungeon. So this is the, apparently I'm awful at CTMs, that's fine. Yeah, this is the first dungeon. We've got a creeper waiting for us. Let's throw a torch in. And apparently he doesn't want to come out. There we go. Right, yeah, it's very much nighttime. And you can see there's a lot of dark around here. There's quite a lot of honeypots and stuff, so you should actually be fine. Let's get that down. Let's just destroy this spawner. I'm not going to save any spawners. You don't really need to. You don't really need an XP farm. See, stuff like this, like there's nothing of use in this chest, but there's a lot of stuff in the chest. Knew I heard a zombie. I should put some blocks on my bar already, and probably not bring all of this wood with me. Let's go and grab some cobblestone or something. So this dungeon is a pretty standard kind of early dungeon for a CTM map. Let's grab half of that and get rid of you. Bye. Hello. Yeah, it's a pretty standard area for an early CTM map area. Kind of, I don't want to use that axe, do I? not very nice having a zombie come up from behind, but there we go. Right. Yeah, so as I was saying, it's a pretty standard area for a first area. Not too challenging, hopefully. It was pretty tough initially, and I kind of nerfed a couple of the mobs and made the area a little bit simpler. This is, yeah. I'm not going to be opening that chest for hopefully obvious reasons. But I did tone it down a lot. I kind of wanted this map to be pretty easy. I wanted it to be a map that you could play as your first CTM map and not have too many difficulties. Let's head up here and just, well, probably blow. Yeah. So there's a few mobs. There shouldn't be any skeletons in this area apart from, I can't even remember if I might have added a command block that removes them from this area. But if there are any, they are purely natural spawns, and it's quite heavily honeypotted around. So yeah, shouldn't see any skeletons. I don't want him to explode because that chest I think actually might have some good loot in. Maybe not. Oh, of course not. The lapis is going to be useful pretty soon, as is the oak logs and the arrows. Yeah, that's a pretty good chest to be fair. But again, why the paintings? And I'm going to leave the cookies. Right, let's block off this side and head down the... actually, let's block off this way and head down this way. The wool is that way. So I'm going to go the other way first. It's a symmetrical dungeon, but at this stage it does branch off into two different directions. I don't know why I'm breaking that gravel. Let's just block off this way like so, and then get our cobble out. So if we come down here, got some creepers. My idea with this was, well, there's a couple of things. So there's a couple of creeper spawners here, obviously, and they can see you, hopefully, and they can pathfind to you, but I don't think it actually works. I don't think they actually find their way out. So, but if another creeper explodes, and there are a couple of creeper spawners, if another creeper explodes and there's loads of creepers spawned in that room, then they'll all get released, and hopefully they'll kill the player. It's one of those traps where like you get to see all of it happening, but still I think some people will fall for it or fall into it. Yeah, so the reward for coming down this side is an iron sword, which I'm going to keep for now and not actually use. I don't know why. Well, we might as well unload everything, I suppose. Yeah, I'm not going to use the iron sword because we are going to get an enchanting table fairly soon, which is why the lapis is going to come in handy. And if we come over here, hidden just behind here, there is a bed and some blocks. So that can be pretty useful if you need beds or blocks. And at this point we do need a bed, and it will make our life outside much easier and allow us to set our spawn in section 1 once we get there. Okay, so we've done that side. Now let's come down this way. Hopefully some of these creepers have despawned. Some, but not all. That's a tad annoying. That should work. Yeah, that's fine. I don't think there's anything that way, but if there is, it's just a chest. Right. And here's the kind of first bit of challenge in the map, I suppose, is these poison spiders with a long-range spawner. Let's not have you come out of there, please. Yeah, so there is a cave spider spawner in that room, and they can cause you trouble, but they will only spawn, I think, one at a time, and they have weakness and slowness, so it's more of a kind of fear technique than a actually... let's grab the wool from the chest. Yeah, so that's the whole first dungeon. As I said, pretty straightforward, quite a simple dungeon, but I think quite a nice way to ease people in. And if you didn't know exactly, for instance, that you could block this off, then maybe I think it would offer a bit more of a challenge. And I think the cave spiders sort of make it feel a bit more difficult than vanilla Minecraft without actually offering too much actual difficulty. So it should hopefully ease kind of newer players in, is the idea. If you're familiar with the later areas of this map, you know that this map is not beginner friendly. But that's something I kind of want to change. I sort of want to make it a map that is good for beginners. And let's just grab this stuff here. Obviously we could get dive bombed by stuff coming down the cliffs, but what do we want out of here? Let's get rid of you and you and you. We'll take you and you. And the chests. I guess we'll take that. What have we got? We've already got a ridiculous amount of torches, but that's good. Let's put some stuff in this shulker box, I suppose. So we'll get rid of all this white stuff, I think. And let's pick this up. Yeah, so it is now dawn is happening. So we're probably just coming up to 20 minutes on the episode. That's fine. I am going to play up until we get to intersection 1, I think, and then I will call the episode there. So there's one last thing we haven't really explored in this starter valley. I can't actually remember the name of the valley. It does have a name. But yeah, one last thing to explore, and that is this island. And we do have a route up, thankfully. Some scaffolding. And there is a sort of rail bridge that heads down in that direction, so maybe there's something behind that waterfall. I'm not going to go that way. Right, and up here. Around here. This is, I guess, just like mini platforming, but I think it's kind of fun to kind of creep around and work your way up. Let's break the spawner. I know there is a guy there, but I messed up. I didn't want to take a hit. Yeah, so this is conductor, and we get our kind of first introduction to quite a big feature of the map, which is these rail stations. Yeah, so that's good. And then if we come up here, should hopefully not have too many issues with these mobs. They are basically just zombies with a little bit of armor. I think these helmets probably drop slightly too frequently because I always get so many of them. Right, let's combine those as well and break this spawner for the XP. So construction of new Sanctifrax halted. Yeah, so new Sanctifrax is was being constructed in the books and then was cut. The chain was cut to let it fly away, basically. And so this is new Sanctifrax. Right, so then if we come up here, we do have an enchanting table. So this is a bit divisive. I think some people feel like it's too early on to give an enchanting table, which I think is a bit kind of like, that's a bit of just a standard way of thinking. Enchanting doesn't break the game as long as you've balanced for it, and I do think these early areas are reasonably balanced for you having some enchanting. Also, the supply of lapis is pretty limited at this stage. So, yeah, and it is meant to be a beginner map, and I think particularly stuff like enchanting, stuff that you can grind for to get better versions of, is quite a good thing to balance. Apparently there is an ice block there, that shouldn't be there. Yeah, enchanting, because I give out a lot of books in the map as well, and then I give out anvils relatively early. So if you want to, you can grind for XP, you can combine levels. You can do all of the things that will allow you to break a map, basically, by just putting in a lot of hours. And I'm absolutely fine with that. I wanted it to be something that anyone could complete the map, so, or at least anyone could get through these early areas. So by having access to things that you can choose to push to the next level, I think that it kind of allows a player to pick how hard they want the map to be to some extent. So if you want an easy map, and we are heading over there, that's our goal. If you want an easy map, then you can enchant all your gear to level 30. You can combine gear to give you the best possible enchants, and then yeah, you'll have a relatively easy time, particularly in the up until the last intersection. But if you do want more of a challenge, you know, you just use the levels you pick up. There's quite a lot of mobs around here, but they're all, again, just creepers and zombies, I think. And one cave spider spawner. Which, those things are ridiculous how well they hit you. So I have to actually be careful here. I do want that string though. Maybe I don't want the string that much. Right, let's get out of here before we die. Yeah, so if you just use the levels you get and you don't abuse anvils and stuff, then you won't have too much difficulty with the map anyway. It should still be playable, right? Even with slowness, they're impossible to hit, but that's fine. And here we are. We've reached intersection 1. So I guess I will deposit some of my stuff here. Let's put down our shulker box and take out the wool. We should make a bow probably, although we do get access to one a bit later on. Let's put our wool in our end chest. So that was Great Expectations, the beginning valley. So the next areas are Tower of Night, which is magenta. Dreadful Cavern, sounds like dreadful. That's it. That's the whole joke. Is light blue, and Sundance Resort is this way. And so next episode we're gonna do Sundance Resort. We also get a shield, so we will be hopefully better protected. And yeah, I'm gonna end the episode here. I think off camera I might do a little bit of enchanting and make sure I have everything that I need from the first area. And let's eat up some of this kelp. But for now, that's going to be it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.